Now we know that every sentence has three different forms: affirmative, negative, and yes/no questions. We're ready to continue, and the first thing I'd like to say is that we have 20 X words in English. You've probably heard them called auxiliary verbs or helping verbs. For our grammar, we'll call them X words, and you'll see why in just a second. And the 20 X words are listed here at the top. We can see them: am, are, is, do and does, have and has, can, may, will, must, should, shall. And then some of these X words also have past forms, like was and were, did, had, could, might, and would. These 20 X words are going to be our key to unlock a sentence so that we're able to find the different places and to see how words are combined into sentences. For example, this is what we're going to be doing. Every sentence has three forms. And very often, affirmative sentences have an X word. Like our first sentence, Terry is hungry. Is the X word. Now, all negative sentences in English have an X word. And we make negative by adding not with the X word. So, for example, Terry is not hungry. In English, all yes/no questions begin with an X word, and we move the X word to the front and we ask, is Terry hungry? What I'd like to do is I'd like to start marking our sentences to find these different X word places. And it's important for us to remember that every sentence has two X word places. There's one place to put the X word when the sentence is affirmative or negative, and there's another X word place to move the X word to make a yes or no question. In our first sentence, we found these two X word places. Our second sentence, she will buy a sandwich. Let's mark our X words. So here's one X word place, will. She will buy a sandwich. We see that to make negative, we're using the same X word place. She will not buy a sandwich. And to change to a yes or no question, we move the X word to the front. And we ask, will she buy a sandwich? Excuse me. Now here we have an affirmative sentence. There is no X word. I don't see it, but when I make negative, I see, oh, here it is. She does not like a sandwich. She does not like pizza, excuse me. To make a yes or no question, we ask, does she like pizza? And so every sentence has two X word places. Many sentences we can find the X word in all three forms: affirmative, negative, and yes/no. Sometimes affirmative sentences don't have an X word, like she likes pizza, but when we change to negative or make a yes or no question, we do have the X word places, and we can see the X words. So, in summary, there's 20 X words in English. They're all listed up here. And when we have sentences, we can show the X word places by drawing an X over the X word. Please, go back to exercise 2 now, and let's find all the X word places in the sentences. When we're done, we'll check it over and we'll move on to our next step.